We heard a voice yelling out here, fire, fire! And so we just jumped up. We weren't even asked to evacuate, but this whole mountainside was blazing.
Multiple fires continue to race around Southern California this morning. Tens of thousands forced to evacuate. We have the latest on the situation down there.
And Portland Public School leaders decided last night that phones would be off and away all day starting next school year. We'll tell you what students and staff think of the controversial decision.
Also this morning, flu cases rising quickly in Clark County, and that's putting a strain on local emergency rooms. We'll have the latest on all those stories and more here in the 6 o'clock hour of Sunrise.
Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. We also have Rod Hill and Chris McGinnis standing by for us. Chris, we're going to get to your traffic update in just a few minutes here. But Rob, we want to start with you to talk about that quickly developing wildfire story this morning in Southern California.
Yeah, and we have, of course, more coming up with our news department. It's a dry wind out there, and it is absolutely an extreme wind event in Southern California. So the area around LA County under a high wind warning through 6 p.m. today, and basically the down trees, power lines, power outages. Warnings from both National Weather Service and fire officials that any new fire starts today will quickly spread. They have multiple confirmed reports in the mountainous areas and the canyons of Southern California of winds gusting between 60 and as high as 90 miles per hour this morning. The warning for the flats of LA itself calling for wind gusts of 45, maybe even hitting 50 or stronger. There's a high up in Utah and Colorado. The bigger player is this low down along the Mexican border, but the two are combining to shoot these north to northeast winds into the area. This is forecast data showing the flats of LA gusting to about 46 miles per hour. Again, the wind warning is up until 6 p.m. today. Now, tomorrow is still a similar wind direction, which makes you wonder how strong some of the winds will be through the canyon still. But overall, the winds should be a lot calmer. And then the wind direction going into Friday morning actually flips. But there are indications that daytime winds could pick back up on Friday. But the main event, the strongest winds happening today. They believe forecasters that those winds will start to fade off a little bit this afternoon, but not get down below warning criteria until late day going to the evening. Again, the warning is up until 6 p.m. You see the lines of equal pressure. These are winds firing through this area right now. It is no matter how you look at it, very dire situation. Unbelievable winds down there for many. That's your update for that. Our local forecast is really quiet. We're in the 40s right now. We'll get up to about 50 today with increasing sun.
Rob, we want to continue to talk about those high wind gusts because that's really what's making it difficult, you might say impossible at this point, for firefighters to make any progress on those wildfires.
Ashley Graham has joined us now with the latest on the firefight. Ashley.
Yeah, Drew, China, good morning. We're watching 3 fires that have already burned a few thousand acres in almost 24 hours and are growing, closing freeways and forcing evacuations as homes and buildings burn. We're just learning from CAL FIRE that the Eaton fire has jumped to more than 2,200 acres. This one sparked around 6:30 last night in the Altadena area. That's just north of Pasadena. This fire has closed schools in Pasadena, Glendale, Burbank, and Arcadia. We're also following the Hearst fire, which reached 500 acres this morning. This is just southwest of Santa Clarita. This fire started last night around 10, and mandatory evacuations are in place. But the biggest fire is the Palisades fire. It's in LA County, just northwest of Santa Monica. Overnight, the LA County Fire Department said the Palisades fire is nearly 3,000 acres and 0% contained. Their post on social media said this is extreme fire behavior, making the firefight very challenging.
The homeowners are saying they're unable to access any exit routes. There's fire on both sides of the road.
By no stretch of the imagination are we out of the woods.
And for those of us with family in Southern California, this can be so stressful to watch, especially when so many families were dealing with the mountain fire in Ventura County just 2 months ago. We'll be sure to bring you the latest here on Sunrise as firefighters continue to work. China.
Thank you, Ashley. And we are going to be monitoring the very latest on these wildfires in Southern California, both on air and on streaming. So be sure to download the KGW Plus app on your smart TV for 24/7 updates.
All right, next here, our top local story this morning. So starting next school year, all Portland Public School students will have to keep their phones turned off and put away for the entire school day. And that, by the way, includes during lunch periods and also in between classes.
Our Thomas Schultz is at Portland Public Schools District Office. Thomas, how are students reacting to the news?
Yeah, well, guys, students are not enthused by the news at all, and this is an ongoing debate that's stretched on for months since the start of the school year here at Portland Public Schools, though parents and teachers that I've spoken with say that they believe this change is going to be beneficial for students. They think that they're going to have enhanced learning in the classroom and also better student behavior. Now, once again, those students just disagree with that. Many kids are citing safety concerns and say they need to get in touch with their parents on a day-to-day basis during things like their lunch period to schedule after-school activities. Despite those worries from teenagers, school board members voted 5-2 last night that phones should be off and away all day for all grades.
I will tell you right now, in front of you all, if you were to enact this by next week or after spring break and you got me a yonder pouch, I'm going to put a fake phone into it.
And that was a student right there who said that, look, regardless of your decision, if you add these yonder pouches, he's not going to abide, though some school leaders say that this is a change that they believe is beneficial for everybody. If it doesn't work, they'll simply adjust.
I will tell you right now, in front of you all, if you were to enact this by next week or after spring break and you got me a yonder pouch, I'm going to put a fake phone into it.
So that student right there, once again, who says he's not going to abide. But once again, school leaders are saying that they do think this is going to be beneficial. A big thing out here is just how much is this going to cost? That's still something that will be determined in the near future. The school board says they're not exactly sure just yet how they're going to enforce this policy. But once again, it is scheduled to go into effect at the beginning of next school year. Guys.
Our Thomas Schultz reporting live for us. Thank you, Thomas. In St. Helens, a retired high school teacher already facing sex abuse charges now faces a new indictment. According to court documents, Mark Collins, a former math teacher, is charged with an additional count of misdemeanor sex abuse. He's now accused of abusing 4 minors. His previous felony charges were reduced to misdemeanors. Collins is one of 2 teachers first arrested in November who sparked growing sex abuse investigation within the district. We have a health alert from Clark County where doctors say the number of flu cases is surging. They say 24% of residents in Clark County, that is less than 1 in 4 people, have gotten a flu shot this season, and that 1 out of 14 people in the emergency room are there because of the flu.
I'm going to double down on this. It's, influenza is a preventable illness, and the most effective thing you can do, among other things, is to get the vaccine.
This also comes after 2 children in Oregon died from the flu Christmas week. Oregon health officials say in Multnomah, Clackamas, and Washington, 474 people have been hospitalized with the flu this season. So to stop the spread of the flu, doctors are urging everyone to practice good hygiene, stay home if you are sick, and get a flu shot.
We're also covering warnings about bird flu this morning following the first human death from bird flu here in the U.S. So the CDC still believes the risk of human infection is low, but they say there are some things you can do to protect you and your pets. So for one, make sure poultry is fully cooked. Also, they say avoid raw milk because pasteurization is what kills bacteria and viruses. If you have backyard chickens, health officials recommend washing your hands often when you deal with them, and don't touch your face after you handle those chickens. Another good idea, designate specific shoes for when you work with chickens and keep those shoes outside. Here's one more suggestion specific to your pets.
So keeping dogs on leash if you're walking them in areas where there are lots of waterfowl. Big fields tend to be really popular among ducks and geese, which unfortunately is often what is popular with dogs.
Bird flu, by the way, the symptoms include pink eye, fever, fatigue, a cough, and muscle or body aches. Bird flu also being blamed for the nationwide shortage of eggs and higher egg prices. Egg distributors say the flu, along with holiday demand, put a real strain on egg supply. That's led to some sparse shelves and an increase in costs. Suppliers say they've lost about 6% of total egg production here in the U.S. because of the bird flu. And in December alone, the USDA reports more than 18 million birds were affected by the virus. The agency also reports the cost for a dozen eggs has jumped 60% over the past year. All right, now to the latest in the plant strike at Providence Hospital. So if a new contract agreement isn't reached by this Friday, 5,000 doctors and nurses could walk off their jobs that very morning.
Providence says it's planning to hold bargaining sessions today with 2 units at the Providence Women's Clinic. And we spoke with a law professor specializing in labor issues who told us the sheer number of workers that plan to picket is unprecedented.
It's a lot of people, it's a lot of patients, and it's leverage for the healthcare staff that's going on strike. They know that the more that they can raise the stakes, the more they're going to be listened to from the front offices.
Providence St. Vincent is already capping the number of patients at the facility just in case. It says it has replacement nurses set up, but not enough doctors. The strike is set to begin 6 a.m. Friday.
All right, before we check back in with Rod, quick sports note, big one for the Thorns. They have a new president and general manager, and it's a soccer Hall of Famer, Jeff Agus. He's also a 5-time MLS champion who represented the U.S. national team in 134 matches during his career, including 3 World Cup tournaments. Agus was inducted into the National Soccer Hall of Fame in 2009. The Thorns, it's worth mentioning, Rod, one more time, their season kicks off on March the 7th.
Not too far off, right?
Yeah, 2 months.
Yeah. We have a nice day coming up. We do have mainly cloudy skies out there right now, so you can't see the stars, but down low, no fog. So good visibility. You can see our Capitol from the mall there in Salem. 42 is the temperature at McNary Field. Similar scene here in downtown Portland in terms of good visibility, and a number in the low 40s at 43. Notice the winds are calm. East winds were gusting overnight coming out of the gorge, but those winds are now all the way down to about 12 miles per hour and will continue to calm this morning. So we'll have kind of a wind-free day with dry weather and increasing sunshine. Your day planner at noon, looking for some sun to be breaking through the clouds, 50 degrees potentially. We'll get up to about 52 for high. The sunrise time now is 7:50. And it doesn't go down till 4:45. So we've added a good 20 minutes or so to daylight in the afternoon hours. We've only picked up a minute, though, in terms of the sun starting to come up earlier in the morning. Anyway, of course, we'll continue to see longer daylight moments until we get into summer. 41 in Beaverton, 40 in Hillsborough, 41 Tiger. These are all current temps. 40 degrees in Sandy. No weather-related issues. 42 Salem, 38 is the number down at Albany. Clearly, everybody's well above freezing. Later today, really mild at the beach. Again, we'll see mid-50s. 49 to 50 in Salem and Portland, 47 in Madras, and about 40 out east. Pretty nice weather overall. Get back to some frosty conditions overnight tonight with clear skies and light wind areas. Tomorrow back up to 50. East winds will be back, so enjoy that wind-free day today. They'll be back tomorrow, the wind. And then we have the rainy Friday followed by that dry stretch again this weekend. Here's Chris.
Rod, we pick it up on the Sylvan Hill. Traffic getting a little bit busier, but so far no problems on that side of town. We'll switch gears. Behind door number 3 is a live look at I-5 coming out of Clark County. There as you go southbound here on the right-hand side of your screen. That's heading down towards the Interstate Bridge. Traffic still looks pretty good there. And the drive over the Glen Jackson also in pretty good shape. A reminder for folks in Lincoln County, US 101 down to 1 lane at times today between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. as ODOT continues emergency road work near Beverly Beach. And so just like yesterday, there could be some long delays north of the Newport area on US 101 today.